The question is that you see in the Quran Kerim, Allah is not mentioning so much about the earlier prophets and their, come. And their sahabis. Sahabis are companions. Although they are great prophets, but hardly is mentioned. And only exception like this or like that, it is Isa alayhi salam. Isa alayhi salam is one of the greatest prophets to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the 5 greatest ones. A book was given to him. There are 124,000 prophets. Out of this, there are 313 Rasul. Rasul means, how we may say, prophets are prophets. Rasul is messenger. Not every prophet is a Rasul, meaning it's a higher station, but every Rasul is a prophet. Quran is only mentioning 25, like that. Meaning that there are some prophets, not some, most prophets is not mentioned in the Quran by name, but the Prophet ﷺ, his Sahabis and those who are following in his footsteps, the awliya Allah, the friends of Allah, they know who these ones are. And Allah has said, to every tribe we have sent a prophet. To every nation we have sent a prophet. So Allah is just. He's not just saying only prophets coming is, say, Middle East area. Because to every nation, he's saying, we sent a prophet. In fact, there are prophets of this nation, the people of this nation, Native Americans, that is buried somewhere close to us, let me just say. So, let's look at the major prophets that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had sent into this world. Isa alayhi salam, Ruhullah. Big book was given to him. He inherited the book of Musa alayhi salam, the Shariat of Musa, the Tawrat Sharif, and from the Tawrat he is also given the Injil. He is given the Tawrat, but a book is given to him, which is the Injil, Injil Sharif. What is the Injil Sharif? He did not walk around with a book under his arm and reading. Whatever is sent to his heart, he speaks. And most of it is parables, words of advice, stories. He was given tasawwuf. So that Isa alayhi salam, the book, the law is given. Now, he inherits the law. He has the law, the Shariat. Now, tariqat is also given to him, which is spirituality. Nothing in his spirituality, he is saying, it is opposed to the Shariat of Musa. He is not saying, don't fast, don't pray, don't make sacrifice, don't do nothing. Later, the people who claim they're following Isa alayhi salam, they change it. But he was very strict about keeping the laws. And even in today's Bible, he's saying, I'm not here to destroy the law. I'm here to fulfill the law. And he's introducing a higher law. And what is that higher law? The law of spirituality, of tasawwuf, of Sufism. Great prophet, big book. Because of tasawwuf and spirituality, the scholars and the rabbis, majority of them, they want to kill him, running to finish him. Huge prophet, but he managed to only pull 12 people. His disciples are 12. People who are following him are 12. Hawariyun. Hawariyun, disciples. I don't like the word disciple. Quran is saying they are Hawariyun. What does Hawariyun means? The people who make bleaching. They bleach. They make it something and they make it to turn white. Because some of them, they are working in the lowest kind of work, kind of profession. If you look in India, those ones who are tanning leather and curing leather, it is considered one of the lowest, if not the lowest job in the world, correct? Because it is a very dirty job, a very stinky job. I remember watching this documentary. This is, I think this man, I think in Morocco, Algeria. He is tanning leather and a big pit like this, and he put the leather inside and he's collecting pigeons' droppings. And he's putting the pigeons' droppings inside because it is the most powerful, whatever compound it has in there, to soften the leather. They put it there, they let it sit there for some time, and he jump in there, and he is walking on it, pounding on it. Okay, don't think just because we live in America, the rest of the world now is like us. They are still working as their ancestors worked for thousands of years. Very hard work, very hard labor for pennies a day for us to enjoy our leather goods here. So think a little bit next time when you go shopping also. You work in a situation like that, he says, I cannot taste anything. I lost my sense of taste ever since I started working when I was a boy. I can't smell, I can't taste. Of course, they die young because those conditions are very dangerous. So, Hawariyun, tanning, making, in this society we say tan to make it turn into a different color, but over there to make it white, to bleach it, to make it white. Meaning when Isa alayhi salam met them and he says, now you are going to bleach the hearts of men. Their heart, not their actions, not their words, not their ritual outside, which they all were doing, the Bani Israel, because Isa alayhi salam was sent to the Bani Israel. He was not sent to the whole world. Because the Shariat of the Bani Israel, the whole world cannot carry also. The Bani Israel cannot carry them. You understand? So, he was sent to them. He took them, 12 followers. Great prophet, he only had 12. But in his hour of need, in his hour when he was most in need of help and security from his followers, they all fell asleep. In that garden of Gethsemane, he was praying to Allah, enemies are going to come. He's telling to his Sahabis, please keep awake for my sake. Why do you think sometimes we keep people awake, following in this tradition? They all fell asleep. And in that garden, he prayed, which even in today's Bible they have. He's saying, make this cup to pass from me. Showing that he's praying to who? A small kid. He was a Muslim. His background was from Christianity. And he asked his teacher, and said, if Jesus is God, then when he was in the garden, who was he praying to? Himself? He wasn't. So, one of the greatest prophets, one of the most important and greatest group of followers, there are certain things that they're doing that falls short. We cannot criticize them. Don't criticize them. Don't insult them. Don't say they are this, and don't say nothing negative. Who are we next to them? If we are put in that position, we'll fail 24 hours. This is the arrogance of today's 21st century Muslims also. They think they can criticize, they can pass opinion about everything. Holy people, very pious people, salihin, prophets, they just pass judgment just like that. You don't know who you're speaking about. You say the wrong word, all of your good things that you've done is cancelled. So, now, Holy Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, one man he came. When he came, he was one man. When he left this world, he had collected and united all of the Arab Peninsula, the Hijaz, and some from beyond also. And never before it has been done. Never. Arabs have never come together. Don't you see? Even today they cannot come together. It takes the greatest messenger to unite them. And after him also, the several dynasties that happened, continually fracturing. One man, he came when he was veiled, 124,000 companions he had. 124,000 companions. How were these companions? Allah has praised his companions, his Sahabis. We have to understand their qualities, what makes them to be completely different from earlier prophets and their companions also. These are the ones that because of their love for him, they went through extreme torture and death. The earliest recorded martyr was an old woman. And she was asked to deny the Prophet. And what was the Prophet coming to bring? To say that man is created equal. To say that there is one nation, one people, one Allah. Everything is in unity. Leave all your bad characteristics. Take care of the poor, and especially the poor, the orphans, and the women. They hate that. Because, as is today's world, the powerful people, the first people that they go after are the orphans, the poor people, and the women. This is their power base. They don't give the rights to them. They become cruel. Arabs at that time, they started to enjoy wealth that never before they enjoyed, never before. And when this wealth came to them, instead of taking care for others, they started to even forget their own traditions. Before the Prophet came, there were certain traditions. You have to have honor, you have to have this. They even forget all of that. Because of what? The flush of wealth and the flush of this world. They start thinking that they are lords, that they are gods. It happens all the time. It happens today. Before they were treated as garbage people, and now suddenly they can gain access into the court of the Byzantines, or into the courts of Persia, or into the kings of the other neighboring empires. So they became very proud. The first martyr was an old lady. They asked her to renounce the Prophet. She didn't want to. They tied one horse to one leg, another horse to another leg. I believe it was a camel that they tied. One camel to one arm and another camel to another, and they say, either you deny that one and leave this new religion that he's bringing, or we'll tear you to pieces. She says, no, I will not. They tore her to pieces. This is one of thousands of cases, thousands. Because the Prophet, when he was in Mecca, in his own home country, hometown, home city where he grew up, where his character was so much loved. He was loved. Before the revelation came, they called him the most trustworthy one. Everybody loved him. Everybody asked for his advice. Everybody honored him. But when the revelation came at the age of 40, the severest enemies were his own family, his own uncles. Thousands. There was a time when there was a boycott, the year of sadness, right after his wife Hatijah, our mother Hatijah, radiallahu anha, she passed, and his beloved uncle passed also, his protectors passed. They imposed sanctions on the Muslims, and they refused to sell them anything, to buy anything from them, to help them, nothing. So in effect, you're living in a desert, you understand? It's not like you're living here. Imagine now we're living here and people in the town completely don't want anything to do with us. We cannot do anything. We cannot move. So many, they died that year. They were eating the barks of trees and the grass and the leaves. So many were dying from starvation, the old ones and the young ones. And they looked to the Prophet, and the Prophet says, be patient. Be patient. They stayed true. They didn't deny him. They put their head down and they say, we will follow you. Compare this to the followers of Moses, Musa alayhi salam. When they were wandering around in the desert of Sinai for 40 years, that Musa alayhi salam, he passed, he was veiled before the end of the 40 years. These were the people that he saved from slavery. These are the people who witnessed miracle, that he split the sea in front of them. These are the people that they were eating. They were not starving. Their prophet prayed, our prophet too, Musa alayhi salam prayed, and Allah was sending food from paradise for them to eat. They were not starving. And when they were eating the food from paradise, they said what? No onions? We like what we had in Egypt. Lentils, onions, this. This is also mankind. It is not them, it is in us. This ingratitude that is in us, the fickleness that is in us. That the best can happen to us, but that self-destructive quality, the ego that is in front of us, is not recognizing that, doesn't value it, and say the ego is always sabotaging us. And if we don't understand the ego, we think it is us. It is not us. It is not the spirit. The spirit is in full submission, is in peace. The ego always wants more and more and more, is never in peace. They were not starving. They were given manna and salwa, quail and let's say heavenly desserts. And still they're saying, where's the onions? We miss the onions. Allah is showing the qualities now, which is why the most highest degree of humans that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, the most beloved ones, they are the prophets. But second to the prophets, they are the companions of the last prophet. Okay? Adam alayhi salam, he was created in paradise, he was sent into this world. His children were born into this world, the first generation children. Most of them believed in him when he said, my children, this world that you see around, we were not from here. I'm not from here. I'm created in paradise. You are the first generation to be born here. But our home is not here. We have been sent. This is our exile. We must return to our original home. Some believed and say, we believe you, O Father, and we see all the proof. And some don't. Some say, you're growing old and you're losing your mind. What are you talking about? Another world over there. It's here. It's always been here. First generation. Their own father is heavenly. That quality, that ego that has, Qabil has, and those who follow him too, that quality never changes from the beginning up till the end. And that quality of man's fickleness, the ego, not mankind, because there's a spirit and there is a nafs, there is the ego. It continues with every prophet. It continues with every prophet's followers. Every prophet that you see, they come, they speak. So difficult to spread truth. Yunus alayhi salam, his people will beat him up. And it became so heavy for him, he pulled away. Not because he was also just trying to escape, but because he felt that he was failing Allah's command. The fish took, when he came out from that boat, it's a long story, and the fish took him, he was happy in the belly of the fish because he was alone with his Lord. And he was asking, when he was pulling that prayer, La ilaha illa anta subhana in kuntu minaz zalimin. Can prophets be zalim? La ilaha illa anta, there is no Lord but you, and I am one of the oppressors. Are prophets hasha? Are they oppressors? Never the oppressed. Who do you think he was praying for? His people, his nation, that they were oppressing him. This is the quality of prophets. They don't rush to punish and to put their people into hellfire. They go over and over again. Nuh alayhi salam, for over 900 years, every single day he goes and he says to the people, return to Allah, leave this foolishness, be good ones to each other, don't cheat each other. The people beat him up every single day. He goes up, back, he recuperates, months, he comes back again, he says again, they beat him up again, continuously over 900 years. Mankind just doesn't want to listen. Those who followed some prophets, minority, they followed the prophets. In one generation, they turned the message around. In one generation, sometimes even less, they will turn the message around, and what the message of the prophets they brought, it becomes corrupted right away. Especially the prophets coming from the Bani Israel. Dawud alayhi salam, Sulaiman alayhi salam. They turn. That is the quality of the people, of mankind, of us. Even with who? Isa alayhi salam. In his own generation, someone just comes up and say, I'm his messenger. The others are saying, who are you? And saying, you never met him. No, I met him spiritually. You never even sat with him. No, I did, spiritually. But you're not even one of us. You were in love with the dunya and following the secular lifestyle, the secular anti-religious lifestyle. You were doing that all your life. No, but spiritually, he taught me. But you are not even praying most of your life and not believing. Doesn't matter. Spiritually, he came to me. And you are changing everything. He's saying, don't change the law, but you change all his laws. You change everything. This is wrong. He said, doesn't matter. Spiritually, he came to me. Meaning now I'm taking that religion according to my own ego, and I'm giving it to people that appeals to their ego. Because it is always a sharia that breaks the ego. Not really tariqat. It is a sharia that breaks the people's ego. So the quality of the companions of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Those ones who were boiled alive, those children that were thrown into the fire and their parents jumping, those ones who left their families and their families came to kill them, those ones who left their wealth and all their possessions just to be with the Prophet and to live as very poor and very simple life. Those ones who left their honor, the honor that was given by their society. Of course, they found a greater honor. Those ones who gave up all their wealth. Did they give up all their wealth to the Prophet? No, they gave up all their wealth to the poor. You understand? They didn't give up everything for the Prophet too. What does he need of wealth? And that's another thing, how our Prophet lived. Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, he was one of the most wealthiest people living in Mecca. And he sold everything. Everything, even the clothes that he was wearing. And he just gave it to the poor. Which means what? At that time, there was a huge number of people that were in need of help. Like today. There's a lot of Muslims, so many Muslims, so many of them, us, are educated. So many of us have wealth. Don't just look at in the West, look especially in the East. Muslim countries, they are holding one of the most, let's say, valuable resources in the world. Whether it's oil, whether it's rare earths, whether it's whatever it is, it's holding that. Well, yet you see, there are still millions and millions, sounding like him saying billions and billions and billions, millions and millions that are living worse lifestyle, worse than poverty, complete oppression. And yet you see Muslim, rich Muslim multi-billionaires, they have toilets made of gold. But at the same time, they're claiming they're the most religious people in the world. Okay? They have so much wealth that they are continually also putting in the West. That's another thing. Wealth that they make, they invest in the West, not in the East. Okay, if you don't like to give charity, why don't you make business in the poor countries to help them? No, because there's a signed deal that they made, you understand? They rose into power because those ones put them into power, and they say, we took out your masters that you didn't like, the true inheritors of the Prophet. Now we're giving you all the wealth, but that wealth, more than half, more than that, it belongs to us. You agree? Agree. They signed it up, and that's it. Less than 100 years. So much wealth that, don't you see, they make cities in complete deserts in the Emirates and everywhere else. They're making tropical paradises in these deserts. They're turning them into winter wonderlands in these deserts. Yet thousands of Muslim children are starving and dying from hunger, starvation, and illness that they can easily just take care of, that they didn't, and they're watching it. The heart is not moving. Still claiming to be the most religious people in the world. Something is wrong there. It's broken. Spirituality? Spirituality, what kind of spirituality you have now? If your neighbor is hungry and you're not feeding. You can be making zikr or salawat whole night long, but if you're not understanding, loving your neighbor, that spirituality, it is hypocrisy. And in Islam, the hypocrites, they are in a lower category than the unbelievers. May Allah protect us from that. And so, Sahabi Kiram, they're very important. Which is why one of the biggest confusions, they have to make confusion about the Sahabis. To split the Ummah right from the beginning. Don't believe in his inheritors. Don't believe in the Sahabis. And don't believe in anything they say, because the religion passed from the prophets to the companions. Once they say don't believe in any of the companions, okay, then you can even deny the Quran, because the Quran was compiled by a companion. You can deny all 6 books of hadith because they're compiled by companions. You understand? Then there is a danger that is there. Then it's going to fracture more and more and more. But Allah has said, I will protect the Quran. I will protect the religion. Allah has said, be careful about the companions of my Prophet. So if people claim that Islam, like the earlier prophets, Islam was finished within 1 generation, they are cursing at Allah and His judgment. But that is what the ego likes. Ego loves emotions because it is the easiest way to move a crowd. Emotions. It is not intelligence. It is emotion. And it is not positive emotion. Quicker to move a crowd, it is negative emotion. You understand? Negative emotion. It is not love that quickly moves a crowd. Because love comes from heavens. It is not here in this world. It comes from the heavens. Hatred, it doesn't belong in the heavens. It is from bottom. So hatred moves the crowds like nothing you can imagine. And that is a very powerful tool. And so that tool of instilling this hatred, where there are, how you may say, pressure points, trigger words, trigger things. They figured it out 1400 years ago. Some of our, I cannot even say brothers, co-religionists, because I cannot say that one is our brother if it's cursing to our father. I cannot say that one is a brother if it's cursing to my brother. Okay? Our co-religionists, there are pressure points there that once you mention this, suddenly the emotion just whoop comes up. Is a veil that you cannot even talk sense. You cannot even say, oh, it's just, and now the script that has been there for 1400 years suddenly just takes over. It's very powerful. I'm not saying that it is very powerful. And one thing when I'm watching them doing it also, these matams, it is very masculine. Ahl Sunnat have been emasculated long time ago. But they still have it. You understand what it feels to do this? It's very effective. But it is not used for Allah's sake. You understand? It is used for the ego. It is used to bring confusion. It is not unity. At that time, what good can you expect from it? Too much. Nothing much. We cannot even... I believe it was Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. Some say he is the fifth righteous Khalifa. It is in the time of the Abbasis, Umayyas. And he is saying, when this question about Hazrati Muawiyah, Hazrati Ali, and all this question that was coming up, and I'm not defending anyone. The Umayyas, they did wrong things also. Abbasis, so did they. But don't judge them also to say that we are better. You understand? We cannot even come close. In their worst times, they were bringing Islam. And they were lifting people. We're doing nothing. But we think we have everything because we have our cell phone. We can text everyone. He said, the dust that is in the nostril of the horse of Hazrati Muawiyah is better than me. This is the quality of Ahl Sunnah. This is the quality of Ahl Sunnah. This is the quality of those who follow, those who follow, those who follow, and those who follow. You understand? This is not the quality of Wahhabis, that they are saying, we are like the Sahabis of this time, and we are better than them, because some Sahabis, they were misguided. Hasha, astaghfirullah. Like that shaitan Phillips, that shaitan, because he said for 1400 years, even our tahiyat are here, it is wrong, because we say, Assalamu alayka, ya ayyuhan nabi. He says, and that is a direct address. You only use that to a person who is alive. He says, it is wrong. Muslims have been doing that for 1400 years, wrong. And he said, they used to do that because Prophet was alive. But when Prophet passed, you should have said this, and they didn't say. They say, where are you from? What is your lineage? You're worse than gypsy. Huh? You came into Islam yesterday, Wahhabis are boosting you, and now you are having thousands to follow you, and you are destroying this Ahl Sunnat attitude to say, those ones are holy, those ones are holy. Me, I'm walking their way. Don't ever think that we are better than them. Do not disrespect them. Whatever they have left us, we cannot even carry a fraction of it. How can we say what they are? That one is only one. There are thousands. There are thousands of alims like that today. Oh, why am I attacking only the scholars? Don't worry, this is equal opportunity. The sheikhs, they're even worse in these days of tarikats, only taking advantage of people. Especially when you look at people, the sheikhs and the peers in the subcontinent especially, all they do about is play with jinns. All they do is take money from you to write you a tawiz. You know, like you go to a bad mechanic, you go with your car has some brake problem. You go there, he fixed the brake problem, but he breaks 10 other things, so you keep coming back. That's what they're doing. So those ones who are condemning Sufism and tariqat based on these ones, I really have to agree too. It doesn't mean tariqat is bad, but these ones, those are not sheikhs anyway. A sheikh cannot be doing that. But we're living in the end of times. These are the signs of the end of times. Prophet says, live your religion simply. Run up to the mountain. Live simple. Whatever you know, practice it sincerely. Don't run to know more and more and more and research more and more. In the old days, people used to travel for thousands of miles to sit in the feet of a master. If the master looks at you, he may teach you. In these days, people think just by reading a couple of websites and a couple of YouTube videos, they are masters of the religion and they give fatwas to everyone. What is this madness? This is madness. Can you read a couple of medical websites and a couple of do-it-yourself surgery on YouTube and then declare yourself a surgeon? You can, or an engineer or an architect or a lawyer or even a policeman. But people are doing that to Islam, to spirituality, 24 hours. This is great, Dajjal is saying, because it doesn't matter if they're 2 billion or 5 billion or 7 billion. They're finished. There's corruption inside everywhere. They will never rise. But Allah has other plans. Allah has other plans. Are we saying we're better? No, we came from that. We are worse. That's why Allah pulled us out. And if Allah lets us off a little bit, we're going to be worse than them again. But we're trying to be simple. That's why we move up here, top of the mountain. There's nothing here. So that we have time. Time to think, time to be with our Allah, time to know who are we? What am I? Why have I been created? Did I live my life today according to the reason of my creation? Not to live our lives like zombies, not like animals, worse than animals these days, like zombies. Zombies means someone else is controlling. At least the animals, no one is controlling an animal, no? An animal is going according to its own instinct. But zombies, no spirit, no soul. Shaitan is controlling. May Allah protect us. Anyway, I talk too much. This much is enough. Wa min Allahu tawfiq al-Fatiha.